Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
For families who rely on it, the Exceptional Family Member Program can shape everything from assignments to access to care. Jessica Hulter knows that firsthand from years spent navigating the system while caring for her daughter, and her experience sheds light on what it takes for military families to find their way through it. Federal Drive host Terry Gerton recently got the chance to speak with Jessica about that experience.
You have written about your experience navigating the military health system as a caregiver. Tell us a little bit about your family's particular story here.
Oh, gosh. Well, what feels like a million years ago, 20 years ago, my husband joined the Air Force. And very shortly afterwards, our infant daughter was diagnosed with a significant and life-limiting genetic disorder. And at that point, I think the information I learned the fastest was that my new job was as a caregiver and advocate for our young child as we moved around the country. The next few years unspooled after that.
One thing that comes through from your story is how much military families have to figure out on their own, that there doesn't seem to be an integrated program that helps navigate this process. What did you learn?
Well, I think there's a lot of an attempt at integrated programs. I think that there are a shocking number of really devoted people who are trying to pave a way for families like mine. What we found was that they tend to be discordant, and that's because of funding and because of policy, because there isn't a significant policy instituting a program office for programs that guide families like mine. They all do a little bit, but none of them quite coordinate with each other in the way that we really needed for them to help us acclimate to lives as special needs parents and as active duty military.
The Exceptional Family Member Program seems to maybe those of us on the outside as the umbrella for the kinds of services that you're talking about. But as you navigated from post to post, how did you experience both the EFMP and the differences in its delivery?
Well, the Exceptional Family Member Program is one of the programs that I'm referring to when I say that there are a lot of wonderful people doing their best with discordant services. And that really comes down to the fact that there isn't just one Exceptional Family Member Program as it's implemented. There's responsibility under that program for looking at family travel. There's responsibility for helping families once they get on base. But those responsibilities are divided between different arms of the program that really don't talk to each other, and they are not coordinated. Past that, they also don't talk installation to installation. So oftentimes you will hit an installation with exceptional people there doing wonderful work, and you'll be blown away. And then you'll move to your next installation, and the position you're looking for isn't even staffed. And this is what I mean. This is where we fall through the cracks, is that amazing people do exceptional work in this program, but there is nothing tying us together as we shift around the country.
Jessica Hulter is an Air Force spouse of 20 years. Jessica, I want you to tell me more about the family experience here. You ultimately worked with Care Starter at Travis Air Force Base, where they became the first installation to fully meet EFMP's core constitutional mandate. How did that happen, first of all, and what difference did it make for folks in their experience?
Well, I was really looking for some place that I could go to put some of my skills and knowledge back to serve the rest of my community. And lo and behold, there were already families out there looking to do just that. So I came to work for Care Starter and eventually PCSI, the company that oversees us as an innovation unit, because I needed a space to express that. And now it's been 6 years that we have been working. We were at Travis Air Base for 4, and we saw record numbers of resources delivered to families in a way that could actually materially help them, and movement in the space of family service prior to departing your losing location that we've never seen before.
Tell me a little bit more about those specific programs and what they deliver.
Well, the Care Starter program delivers what we call a care map, which is really a care navigation plan across 6 categories. That's medical, therapy, and education. Those are your core ones. And then family support, like spousal employment and support groups, as well as nutritional support and recreational resources. Because CareStarter deeply and foundationally believes that whether you have a difference of ability or not, you are at your core just a person navigating the world and trying to live their best life. We want to support your ability to do that. And we believe that by doing that, we also support your readiness and resilience, your ability to integrate with a new base quickly and be ready for whatever life throws at you.
Parents who have special needs children are already navigating a lot of tough emotions, a lot of stress. When you mix that in with the stress of being a military family, how much more complicated and difficult does that make it?
We start over every 2 to 3 years. We're the new guy in town. We don't have the support network. We don't have the child care, even in an emergency, somebody who could theoretically take our child for 2 hours often. We need to be a stronger tribe. I love my life. I loved 20 years of service, and I loved raising my daughter. These were wonderful, exceptional experiences. They weren't just hardships, but we need programs like CareStarter to help us knit together and strengthen the tribe that we can be so that we can support each other. Because you're not wrong. This is hard. It's beautiful and wonderful and exciting. There's not a piece of me that will ever be sorry for our service, but it is very challenging and it requires us to support each other.
The need to build up those networks can take 2 or 3 years on its own. And so to disconnect them and plug them in someplace new every time you just about get them right has got to be very difficult. But the military knows about these changes. Why is it so difficult to get this problem fixed?
Because there aren't enough people to do it manually. And until now, we didn't have the technology to do it in an expedited, technology-enabled way.
And what is that new technology?
So the new technology is a platform that enables the transition of a care plan from one location to another. We can take your paperwork, your 2792, which is your medical and educational paperwork on what your dependent needs, and translate that into a care plan where we resource those needs specifically and make sure that you have a person that you can connect with directly when you get to your gaining location so that you can get that service implemented within a few weeks rather than a few months.
And you have connected these challenges directly to readiness. How does the challenge of picking up and moving in the EFMP program show up in a service member's ability to do their job?
I don't understand how any command expects any service member to arrive clean, shaven, and ready to work if they know that that service member's home life is an emergency. Every time they go home, they are worried that their spouse or their child is not getting the required medical services, or they come home to a family in tears because they feel so alone and so unsupported. The family has to be okay to show up.
And as you're working this issue, sort of from both sides, trying to help families navigate, but also pushing on the institutional rope, if you will, to try to get some structural changes, where are you seeing the most progress?
You know, we've seen a lot of progress in the last 10 years. We see efforts to streamline and integrate the Exceptional Family Member Program, and we've seen a lot of efforts to help families transition. I think that what we need now are usable, off-the-shelf products from the civilian world to be translated and brought to bear for the military community in ways that help them be highly mobile, but also supported during that process.
And at the end of the day, what's your best advice for families who might be navigating these same hurdles that you've been through?
Lean in. I wish I knew that back when. I wish I knew to just show up and say, I need help. And if I hit somebody who wasn't exactly generous with their time or generous of spirit, find somebody else. There is a whole huge, fierce military tribe of us, of caregivers who want to support each other. And the further in you lean, the more of us you find.
Jessica Hulter is an Air Force spouse of 20 years. We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.